Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm gonna do that again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your favorite realtor, Ruth Marquise Haynes. Hey, so today I want to talk about rent to own. I get this question a lot. First question is, do you do rentals? The question is, the answer to that is, not really. Second of all, rent to own, what I really think about it, and it's my opinion, as an investor, you come across people that would like to buy homes and you want to put them in a home, and maybe you want to kind of rent it out, like you don't mind holding on to a property. So you'll say, I have rent to own properties and all that, and it looks good, and you're like, yeah, I want to rent to own, Ruth, that's what I want. But then when I really explain to them, to my clients, like what rent to own really is, it's like, okay, so my thing is this: if they ask you for a down payment, how it's supposed to work is, and I don't know every program, but how it's supposed to work is, you're supposed to put a down payment as if you are purchasing this house. Then you're going to rent it for a year. You have the first option, the first right of refusal, whatever, and you can choose to buy it. Let me stop you right there, okay? First of all, how do you know what that property is worth? You're buying that property for whatever they say it's worth, right? So if I said my house is worth $150,000, let me tell you, we have clients right now, they wish their house was worth $150,000, but guess what? The market says 135, and they're going to keep dropping their price until they hit their number, and that's when that is the only time they're going to sell the house. But they just don't know that yet because they think that their house is worth $150. Doesn't matter what you tell them. They haven't fixed it in years, but they still going to sell it for $150. The market is popping, but it ain't that popping for people that don't fix up their house. All right. So anyway, so so that person, the seller has no idea what their house is worth. The realtor studies the market, and they let the person know how, like, what the market is actually doing it. So buyers and sellers must agree. They must agree in order to sell a house. A seller can want to sell a $200,000 property and it for $240, but the market will never say yes until it hits about $210 or $205, and then maybe they'll get some action. And at the end of the day, the market is always going to say, the buyers will always let you know how much they're willing to pay for your house. Other than that, the person takes it back off the market and they wait for the market to get to their price, right? So why are you paying to get into a rent to own for a seller who really doesn't understand the market? They're going to charge you up. They're representing themselves. They're not protecting you. And you feel like, because I get into a house and I'm paying rent right now, that I am getting a good deal. Now, when you put that $5,000 down or whatever they ask you down, right? And they say, hey, this is like going to credit, like a credit towards your mortgage, towards when you're ready to buy the house. So X, Y, and Z. Like, how do we know? How do we know that that's exactly what's happening, right? They can put that money in their pocket. That's a strategy for investors to make money. So I tell my clients, I'm here to represent you, not the investor, not the seller. So rent to own, if you're putting money down, not for me, right? But if somebody wants to rent their home and then say, you know what, I'm gonna let you rent it for right now, and then I will sell it to you. Like, I'd rather not lock myself in, because what if I get qualified and I see a better house? Now I promise somebody I'm going to buy their house, and like, you really don't want to do business that way, where you're making promises that you just can't keep, right? So just rent or buy. Pick one and do it. That's how I feel about it. That's what it is. If you have another program, you know what I'm saying? If it worked for you, then it worked for you. But for me, I don't really like that. But if you wanted to rent a house, let's just say you wanted to rent a house for $1,000, right? Willing to pay $1,000. How much do you have to put into that, like that, to get into the house? You would have to deposit most likely 3 months. So that's $3,000. So you mean to tell me, if you could have just saved another 30 or 60 days and you could have came up with $5,000 and you could have owned the thing, you wouldn't do it? Really? And all you had to do was have a 580 credit score? If you came to me and you wanted me to rent you a house, you would still need a 580. You probably need a higher score to rent a house than you do to buy a house. I'm going to say that again. You probably need a higher score to rent a house than you do to buy a house. Why is that, Ruth? You know why? Because every time you put your rental application, renting is kind of easier than buying, right? It seems like it. You just put your money down, you go in, and that's it. But guess what? There's so many other other people competing for that property, especially when you go with an agent. If you are going to go with an agent, if you feel like your credit is not good, first of all, we can't help you because that landlord is not going to go with that person. Especially if you come to me as the renter, I don't have the listing, I can't push you forward. You know what I'm saying? It's 10 people for every property that somebody wants to rent out. So the person with the best credit score and the best job, because you all are paying the same thing, so that's the only way they can determine whether, hey, this is the perfect person, this is the perfect tenant, blah, blah, blah. So the best thing you can do, I get this question a lot, like if I don't have good credit, how do I rent a house? Well, the best thing you can do is drive around, find somebody that you know, and find a landlord, a private landlord, and rent a house that way. You drive around, you call the number, and then you ask, and that's it. It's so simple. You wouldn't need me for that. So that you can do on your own. However, if you want to rent a house with me, they want you to have like great credit. If you're going to do all that work, why not buy the house? Do you know that you can get a gift for the $2,000 that you don't have? Mommy, daddy, auntie, uncle, cousin, $300 each, 10 people, that's $3,000 right there. Like, you can get a gift. As long as you have a gift letter and you can prove where it came from, you can get a gift. You can take the money out of your retirement account. A lot of y'all have retirement accounts or pensions that you can take the money out. Yes, you are able to ask your HR department. Don't take my word for it. Go ask HR. Hey, am I able to buy a home with this money? Yes, you can do that. So guess what? You probably have the money for the house. And if you're like really close, 560, 570, 580, you ready to buy a house. It's all up to you, your timing, and what you want to do. So I like to go as slow as you want to go or as fast as you want to go. That's something I'll do. So just let me know if you want to speak with me for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we can just come up with a plan for what you're going to do for the next year or two as far as buying a home. My number is 267-259-4639. I just go through a questionnaire with you, ask you a couple things, and I could tell you, like what the timeline can be expected. If you need help with somebody running your credit, I have people. You don't have to run to your local bank, which is going to be too slow to close. It's too much red tape for them to close on time or for you to get the right service that you need. Come to me. I'll help you. I'll hook you up, right? I'll hook you up. All right, so don't forget our seminar. I left the link in the description to register for our seminar. We have a lot of home buying tips. Get started on the process. The best thing to do is just to get started. Stop standing on the sidelines and get you in a house. All right, this is Ruth Marquise. I will see you on the next video. Bye.